he paces behind and hereinafter on phase, list his artistic achievements for Turkey, new roads, superior hospitals, more than social transport, more than airports. At each gathering, he hammers household the identical communication, he has converted Turkey in a new contemporary nationality. In nearly each speaking, 64-year-old Erdogan disparages which he telephone call ancient Turkey, a location wherever waste folded up on the gateway, social hospitals were over expenditure, and roads were vaguely lit, solitary lane die traps. How communication of conversion has brought Erdogan and his judiciary and growth side, AKP, 12 election victories above the recent 16-year, manufacturing Erdogan the Turkey Republic's longest-serving lead with it was based in 1923. Erdogan's pompous election meetings include be an anticipated portion of any Turkey poll, but they seem to include been eclipsed environment, as major opposition applicant Muharrem İnce drew which looked love the greatest mob in the election's time still. In the city of Izmir, hundreds of thousands of İnce supporters in a sea of red Turkey flags extended for kilometers downward a festival on the Aegean shore, as the Charisma ex-top high school physical science tutor pledged to end the cronyism of the Erdogan by the government. Erdogan is weary, he has no joy and he is haughty, he told. The one brush you include a weary person, and on the sum you include crisp bloodstream. Erdogan has united force at each move of his career. He has crushed against government protests, and in 2013 he evaded a corrupt practices inquiry in his internal round. Following an unsuccessful war coup to shoot his by the government of force in 2016, he removed his opponents by shooting tens of thousands of by the government workers, gutting social institutions, jailing crucial sounding, and clamped downward on the print. He tightly won a plebiscite recent year. How will changing Turkey's parliament framework to an execution chairmanship, giver who wins Saturday's voice sweep new powers? But Erdogan's prayer of growth and increase has lost several of its gloss newly as Turkey human beings since the dash of a indecisive economics. The lira has lost several 20% of its importance with the year began, bloating is at 12% and concern rates are about a morbid 18%. Several voters are tedious of which they see as Erdogan's force grabbing. He's a position wherever Erdogan can't accuse nobody else. He's not loved by the government is run by who else so he can rotate about and say choose me so I can enhance the economics. How's his poor place and he knows he, told Asli Aydin Tazbaz, a elder comrade at the Europe Justice on Overseas Relations. But at the Istanbul gathering, stubborn Erdogan advocate Gulbahar Turan is certainly Erdogan's AKP can go on to supply. She says overseas intervene, not by the government poor management, is which strive the economical turmoil. These are games by overseas powers, but they should aware though a corpse Erdogan would get votes, Turan told. Erdogan's largest risk polls in Turkey are characteristically supporter and insecure, but Erdogan appears to be in front line. Several polls propose he will failure to win 50% of the voice, and how will indicate a work-off circle on July 8. That could be a especially hazardous stance for Erdogan to discover oneself in, as largest opposition parties include vowed to zinc their supporters to who challenges the position lead. Opposition candidates and parties are hard to rob supporting of Erdogan on all fronts. Prudent nationalist Meral Akşener threatens him of the center order, time Temel Karamoğlu of the Islamic happiness side could as well driving godly conservative party off of the AKP. But Erdogan's largest risk is the menacing İnce, who has galvanized the center-left about the CHP. In the history, the CHP fielded quite monotonous candidates. The poll is the at first in that the side has selected who Charisma, Aydin Tazbaz told. We are already vision the results in the feeling how the is a racing among Muharrem İnce and Erdogan. And how's never happened up. Erdogan had it too lightweight and he mainly ran versus oneself, Aydin Tazbaz told. İnce is a not an unclear behalf in Turkey. The 54-year-old has serviced as a term of parliament for the recent 16-year. He has controlled to expand his side's circulation for its normal basis of worldly top middle-class voters to involve godly Muslim and Kurds. Ex-leaders of the side were bureaucrats or statesmen, told Balul Ozkan, a policy scholar of Marble College. In his village household cradle, his lorry motorist dad and scarf-wearing mom and sibling is various of his predecessors. For the sacred monthly of Ramadan, while Ince done decorum in his sibling who wears a scarf, he done precise he would go on to warranty females' order to carry the Muslim headgear in social spaces, consisting universities. The Muslim scarf was forbidden in social lifetime in the ramifications of a gentle coup in 1997. Female who wore it were prohibited of departure to college, practitioner medical and act, and serving as members of parliament, before Erdogan begun lift such restrictions in 2013. Ince has been achieving out to the Kurds, Turkey's greatest ethnical minority group, whose voice is normally break among Erdogan's AKP and the Profi Kurdish Left Folk Democratic State Side, HDP. In a uncommon incident for a CHP political figure, the strike at an Ince gathering in the mainly Kurd town of Diyarbakir was top. The Kurd voice is major in the result of the parliament poll. If the HDP crosses a 10% limit, it will win seats and could deny the AKP of its parliament most. If it fails to get in parliament, the AKP will broom up such seats. Human beings are patient and weary, Ince, Erdogan, human beings are kitchen stone instead of meal. Human beings are kitchen their trouble instead of meal. See at the prices of potatoes, of onions. Down there is no loaf. Ince shouted out above the mob at a latter campaigning gathering in the southern town of Antalya. Go, allows include a discussion. Allows say on the fight of receive by, of profitable the lease, of send the guys to high school. I trust in the force of the road. I trust in our human beings' desire for changing. Human beings are patient and weary. Turkey is patient and weary. Institutions include been undertaken above. Turkey's democratic state has been ruined. A solitary man rules above Turkey. Turkey has to discover a way out of the, he told. He is achieving out to Turkey's youthful as so. A team of students suspended out at an Istanbul coffee house say they don't aware lot on the old Turkey Erdogan negotiations on, to them the old Turkey was the one of several year back, while down there were more civilian civil liberties. They reject to offer their names, weeping the losing of liberty of speaking. I don't wish to offer you my behalf since I requirement to believe on my next, told a 22-year-old physiological undergraduate. How is a worry about I fair don't wish to include over. Else undergraduate told how provided services and growth should be anticipated of by the government, nothing for Erdogan to boast on. Roads, roads, roads. I don't wish to say on how. I wish to say on more than, he told. But growth is a communication how has treated for Erdogan for 16 years. Behind at his gathering in Istanbul, as his opera building representation draws to a shut, he asks, how do you love how, to the mob, that roars behind in adoption. He telephone call out to the monitoring chamber once again for his following representation, new house plans for an aisle growth and later else for a garden.